just laugh at my pain. Hello you wonderful creatures, I'm back again with another video. I'm continuing with my fun videos for me because I'm still not really in the mood to sit here and rant about something. So today I'm going to do a story time and I'm going to tell you all why you shouldn't speed. So a lot of my close friends will know that I don't drive anymore. I passed my driving test in October 2014. I think it was the 2nd of October 2014. I passed first time, I got no minors, lovely. However, had my first year and I had a black box in my car. Anyone doesn't know what that is, it's basically something that monitors your driving. It's meant to bring your insurance down. You're not allowed to speed on it, because obviously that is actually illegal. My second year, my insurance went down by about £600, so I was loving life. I was like, yeah, I'm here for this. And in my second year, I got my insurance. I then wrote my car off, so I had to get a new car. I got it in the space of a week, it was fine. I got exactly the same car that I had anyway. It was just a year newer than my original car. And I then met my, what is now ex-boyfriend, and we went out on New Year's Day. We drove to Bristol and we went shopping for the day, and on the way back, at the time, the M5 had variable speed limits and roadworks going on everywhere that felt like they were going on for years. I was doing, I think, 72 in what was then a 50. So it was meant to be a 70 on a motorway, as everybody knows. However, it was a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit because of the roadworks, and they had average checkpoints to check your speed. I was going 72 miles an hour, so that was my first speeding ticket. And then a week later, I got another speeding ticket, again on a motorway. I think I was doing 75 in a 70 or something along those lines, and I got another speeding ticket. By that point, I thought, crap, I'm now going to lose my license. So in the UK, we have this policy called the New Drivers Act. The New Drivers Act basically says that if you get 6 points in your first 2 years of driving, your license gets revoked and you have to retake your theory test and your driving test. So I'm sat there, I've got 2 speeding tickets, they're 3 points each, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna lose my license. Then I found out that I could just do a speed awareness course for one of those speeding tickets and then only come out with 3 points. Speed awareness courses are essentially a day where you go somewhere. I went somewhere in what seemed like the middle of nowhere. I went to a hotel in the middle of nowhere and I sat in this room and they essentially just told us why you shouldn't speed, how dangerous it is to speed, etc, etc. And then once you completed that, your points get written off. So I then only had 3 points. That was January 2016. I then went the entire year and I didn't speed. Well, I did speed, but I didn't get caught speeding for basically almost the entire year. And I got to, I think, about September, late September, and I finished work at 9, half 9 I think. I finished work at half 9 and I was on my way home and I got onto the motorway and I, hand on heart, did not see a sign that told me it was any less than 70 miles an hour on the motorway. And I was coming down the motorway and we had those weird kind of speed cameras that are like incrementally over the motorway that just checks your speed in, like, I think it's about a 2 mile sort of stretch of road, and I was doing 70. I did 70 because I thought it's fine, like I'm doing fine, it's fine. As I said, I did not see anything telling me that it was not 70 miles an hour. And a week later, I get another speeding ticket through the post telling me I was going 70 in a 50. And I sat there and I thought, fantastic. I spoke to my mum about it. I was actually at work when it came through the door. My mum rang me and she said, go careful driving home because you've got another speeding ticket in the post. I then essentially was sat in the car park of work and I was stressing out because I thought, brilliant, I'm now going to have my licence revoked. That is now 6 points on my licence and my licence is now gone. She lovingly told me she'd take the points for me as long as I was careful and I continued to not speed. I got home that day, actually it was 75 in a 50 and that's important, so sorry, it was a 75 in a 50 I got a speeding ticket for. I came home and it was the first day that I was moving in with my what was current boyfriend. So I came back to my mum's house first and grabbed some stuff to take with me while I was moving in there, and I got about halfway there and I rang my boyfriend telling him I was on my way, and he essentially told me that he wasn't going to be there. He was going to his mate's house for the night and I wasn't going to see him until the next day. And not only that, in our house we didn't have a lot of furniture. We literally basically had a bed, a TV and a TV stand and an Xbox. That was pretty much all we had in our house. And he told me he was taking the Xbox with him. So I kind of lost my shit a little bit and said something along the lines of, really, this is the first day I'm moving in and you're not even gonna be there and you're taking my only source of watching TV while you're not there. And I was going absolutely skits at him on the phone. I was like, you're so horrible, like, why are you doing this? Like, I may as well not bother coming over now. And I was not looking at my speedo. I did not look at it at all. I was not paying any attention to how fast I was going. And I was coming down a 30-mile-an-hour road. About 2 minutes after I got off the phone with my boyfriend, I saw blue flashing lights in my rearview mirror and I thought, literally my heart dropped out of my... I was like, oh God, here we go. Okay, that's brilliant. So I pull over on the side of the road and a police officer comes and knocks on my window and he's like, can you roll your window down? I put my window down and he said, do you know how fast you were going? And I said, I'm not even gonna lie about it, mate. I have no idea how fast I was going. I was not paying any attention to how fast I was going. He said, well, do you know what the speed limit is? I said, yeah, I think it's a 30 mile an hour. And he said, do you think you were going 30 mile an hour? And me being the stupid, cocky, idiotic person that I am, I said, I'm assuming I was going over 30 mile an hour, otherwise you wouldn't have pulled me over. He then told me to get out of the car. I got in the back of the police car and he told me that I was doing 48 in a 30 and he read me my rights. He showed me the equipment that he used to check my speed and said, do you understand that you were going over the speed limit? I said, yes. He said, when did you pass your test? This was legitimately 6 days before I'd gotten to my 2-year mark, so the new Drivers Act wouldn't have applied to me in 6 days. I'm in the back of this police car. He said, when did you pass your test? I said, the 2nd of October 2014. He looked at the calendar and he said, well, you're screwed. I said, yeah, I'm screwed. Thank you very much for clarifying. He said, you're only a saving grace, maybe the admin team won't process this until after your 2-year mark. And I said, okay, we'll just see what happens. So I got my speeding ticket in the post and I was sort of sat there and I thought, right, well, I know now that I'm gonna lose my license and my insurance ran out on, I think, about the 14th of October. So I thought, I'm not gonna bother sending these back until the 14th because there's no point me renewing my insurance. So I may as well just drive until my insurance runs out and then I'll send the speeding tickets back and they'll take my license off me. So that's what I did and everything was fine for a really long time. February time, 2017, I got a letter through the post telling me that I had to go to court. And by this point, I haven't got a license anymore. I am already preparing myself to have to retake both of my tests. I'm sat there and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll save the money up and I'll go and do driving lessons again because I know that at this point I can no longer drive by DVLA standards. I could not pass a test with the way that I was driving. So I thought, okay, I have to take new lessons, take my theory test, take my driving test, and then I'm fine. And I got a letter through the post in February saying that I had to go to court. I looked at this piece of paper for about 20 minutes, I think, just rereading it and rereading it and rereading it and thinking, why? Essentially it told me they were going to ban me from driving. And I thought, that's a bit weird. I then rang up the number that was on the sheet of paper and I asked them, like, can you tell me more information as to why I'm getting a ban? And they said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. They pulled my records up and they said, right, well, you already had 6 points on your license anyway. I was under the impression that I actually had 9 points because I had 4 speeding tickets. One of them I did a speed awareness course for, so 3 times 3, I thought I had 9 points. They said 6, so I was like, okay, well, I should have another speeding ticket on there. They said, well, it hasn't been processed and finalised yet. I said, well, why not? And they said, because you have to come to court. And I said, okay, why? And they said, because you were going 50% over the speed limit, 75 in a 50. I was going 50% over the speed limit and therefore that totals up to 6 points. And that gives you 12 points, which means you're now liable for a ban. Why? So I hang up the phone, I say, okay, that's cool, I'll send all this paperwork back to you and I'll get it all sorted. They told me that it could take a while for me to get a court date, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I was expecting to get it by like April time. I was prepared. I was like, you know what? I've done the crime, I'll do the time. Like, as much as I've already gotten a revocation on my life, I haven't even got a license. I didn't even bother sending off my provisional license yet. Literally didn't even have a physical license. I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I guess I'll just have to wait until I don't have a ban anymore. So my court date came through, it was on the 19th of July, I think, something like that, of 2017. And I go in, I went with my dad, I'm sat in this court and I have to fill out all this paperwork and I have to take my provisional license with me, and they told me that prior, thank God, because then I was just like, okay, so I'm gonna literally pay £50 to get a provisional license and then give it to the court, and then I'm gonna have to pay again once my ban is up, another £50 to get a provisional license again. So I'm sat in the court and they call me in and they say like, do you understand what you've done? I said yes, and I'm really sorry about it. I broke down crying in this court. I was just like, I already have my license revoked. Like I'm already not driven since October last year, purely because I was waiting for this court date. And I didn't see the point in doing both the tests again if you're just gonna take my license off me. And they said, okay, well that's not good enough, you're gonna have to have a ban. So I got a 6-month ban, and I think about £400 fine, and I got a 6-month ban until January 2018. So I'm then sat there and I'm like, okay, it's fine. I would have been a lot worse, I think, if I'd passed both my tests again and I was driving again and then I got banned. So, because obviously by this point I was already not driving for about 9 months, so I was like, I can live with this, it's fine. Like, as I said, I've done the crime, I'll do the time, it's cool, I can live with it. Yeah, so I got a driving ban for 6 months, and I came home and I told my mum and I said, I'm now not gonna get insured on a car. Even my 1.2 2002 plate Ford Fiesta, I'm not gonna get insured on it. So now, we're now in March 2018, I have not driven now for a year and a half-ish, and it's really peak because I basically live in the middle of nowhere. So essentially, I am an hour away from anything via public transport. Even if I want to go 8 miles, I have to get on a bus that takes me an hour to get there. And if I want to go to a city, it takes me an hour to get there. I'm essentially an hour from anything. And I don't, which is why everybody where I live gets your license at 17, because then you can do what you want to do. You haven't got to rely on parents or other people for lifts places and lifts back from places. So I've spent the last year and a half of my life pretty much in my house. I had to quit my job because it cost me too much money to get there. It took me about 3 hours to get to work. It cost me about £300 in train fares and bus fares to get to and from work. I then got another job and it still took me 2.5 hours to get there. It was only 20 miles away and it took me 2.5 hours to get there. I had to get 2 buses. It cost me £80 a month because luckily I managed to get a monthly bus pass. Now I haven't been driving for over a year and I can legally drive again. I just don't see the point, and this is why. So even though now my license would be clean, because I've now had a ban, my license is now no points. I've got a clean UK driving license once I decide to get it back. However, I still have to declare the fact that I got 12 points, plus my speed awareness course, plus my ban, and I've also got a claim because I bumped into another car about 2 years ago, and I didn't even go through my insurance, but I told my insurance about it, and I had to pay £400 to get this woman's car fixed. Incrementally, sort of regularly, I check how much my insurance is going to cost. I checked it before I started this video just to give you an accurate number, and my insurance for a 21-year-old who lives at home with her parents on a 2002 Ford Fiesta 1.2 litre would cost me about £2,500. That is probably about 10 times what my car is worth, and I don't really see the point in trying to drive at the moment. I might get my licence back, just so I then haven't got to worry about getting my licence back, but I have to pay for a theory test, pay for a driving test, pay for driving lessons, and then I'm gonna have to pay to get my car back on the road, because when I wasn't driving it, I left it on my mum's drive and I just took it off the road so I didn't have to pay tax on it. So I'd have to pay to get my car back on the road in terms of tax, I'd have to pay to get my car MOT'd, I would then have to pay £2,500 in insurance, and it's kind of like, that's roughly, give or take, about £4,000 I'm gonna spend on getting my car and myself back on the road. Is it really worth it? The moral of the story, guys, is don't speed. I've officially learnt my lesson. I'm honestly, it was so not worth getting home like 10 minutes earlier than I would have done. It was not worth it. It was just, oh my God. It was not worth it. Do not speed, because this could legitimately be you, and you could honestly end up so much more screwed than you were initially anyway. It's just, oh, I hate everything. So, moral of the story, do not speed. That is pretty much the only thing that I wanted to talk about today. And on that note, that is the end of the video. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you are able to either learn something from me or laugh at my pain and make your day slightly better. I'm going to do a few more story time because I do have a lot of things that have happened in my life that I think could cheer people up on their day-to-day basis or teach people things that you probably already knew, but having someone literally tell you the worst case scenario, because that seems to be my life, is just everything is worst case scenario. Just hearing about the worst case scenario may just deflect you from doing stupid things. If you're going to speed, I know that I can't stop you, I know that everybody does it, at least do it on roads where you know you're not gonna get caught. Do be careful, and do remember that even if you are confident in your driving and you are confident in how you drive and you know that you're never gonna crash, it only takes one other stupid, idiotic driver to cause an accident. I'm leaving you with that. Please like and subscribe. If you like my content, then just subscribe, because the only thing it's gonna do is tell you when I upload, and that is not the worst thing in the world. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know that I should do more story times. You're gonna get them whether you like them or not, so it doesn't really matter. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. They'll be down here somewhere. I am actually getting so much better at posting on both of those things, and I'm so proud of myself. I set myself the goal of posting at least once a day, and I have achieved that so far. So please follow me, they'll be down here and also in the description box below as always. I will be here until you tell me not to be. I'm probably still after that anyway. Have a great week, guys.